Hello, hello, welcome back. So, as you can see from this glorious yellow, we are on our Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. Now, after you went, I carried on and put all the flowers that I'm going to put on it. I did do some of the orange centres, but now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I'd like to put a few gold beads in there just to pick up the light a little bit. So I've got these ones here. You can probably, I've just dropped one, they're lethal. These little tiny ones here. So I'm going to use some of those, and I think I'm probably going to pop them on with that gold thread. So, is that the same as that one that I was using yesterday? I think it probably, except now I've got it all in a knot, of course. Let's just cut it and find it out. So how are you? What have you been up to? Yeah, that is that one. Perfect. So I'm going to thread up this needle. I'm going to put some beads on, then we'll get these letters sewn, and then we'll concentrate on our big petalled flower up there. Although it's not going to be that big, is it? Because my page is not huge. Now, I've had some really exciting happenings. One, I'm experimenting with a little project. I'm not going to tell you too much at the moment because I'm not 100% sure how well it's going to work yet. But once I know, I'll share that with you. But what is really exciting, for me at least anyway, is if you've been around for a little while, you may well remember that some time back I started a project called the Heirloom Scrappy Quilt, and I did, I believe, only 2 videos, but I did a couple of videos on it and I shared it with you guys, and it had quite a lot of comments, quite a lot of views, and people seem very interested in it. Now, I am very pleased to say that now, and I deliberately looked it up the other day, a year later I have almost finished hand quilting it. So what that means is that probably, I'd say 2 weeks, in 2 weeks time I will be able to show you what it looks like, because it needs finishing. I'm on the last quarter, which is probably the size of my, a little bit bigger than my mat, so it's probably about an A, well, this mat's an A2, so you know it's, and I'm almost there. As I say, I've got a quarter left, and then I'll be able to show you what it looks like. It needs finishing and a little bit of tidying up. What have I learnt from doing that hand quilting? Well, got to be honest and say, my fingers really suffered from doing it. I have scars from that quilt. Oh. Now, I have noticed that for some reason the centres in these beads are different sizes. Sometimes they just go in straight away, other times they take a bit of persuading. I don't want to do every one, I just want to do a few to catch the light and look a little bit different. So we've got 2 over there. I'm going to pop 1 up here. So yes, I've got to be honest and say I have thoroughly enjoyed doing it. It's kept me busy most evenings. And I have enjoyed it so much that I am actually preparing to do it again. Now, I have to be honest and say, choosing to hand quilt in this sashiko pattern was not the smartest idea I've ever had. And I've got to be honest and say, having done that, I wouldn't do that again. I would choose a much looser pattern to do that quilting with. But yeah, and I think I've told you this before, but I have got a quilt top that I made many years ago in Moda fabric from a layer cake, and I think it's called sliced layer cake pattern or something like that, because the layer cake is 10 by 10 and you basically slice off, I think it was a 3-inch strip or even a 4-inch strip, and then you turn those strips upside down so that when you making the quilt and you put the pieces together, obviously you get 2 different pieces put together. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Never ever got around to finishing it by quilting it, or you know, adding a border or or anything. So I'm thinking, I keep dropping them. I'm thinking now is the time to be doing that. So I've dug it out. I have purchased some backing fabric and also some wadding, and I'm going to get that one going as well. There you go, it's all happening. I'm also working on Digby the dog, and I've got nearly all of his component pieces now complete. So I think this will be probably the last bead. I didn't want too many, just a few. Oops, flick that one out, so we'll use that one. Just a few to add a little bit further dimension, and as I say, different sort of bit of colour as the light catches it. So yes, all these component pieces are all but done. Just got to think about joining them all together, and I'll tell you what, he's an awful lot bigger than I thought he was. So he's going to take a lot of stuffing. I can't even begin to imagine how much stuffing I'm going to need for him. But anyway, there you go. Okay, so I'll put those beads in. They just add a little bit more dimension, which I like. Now I need to look at what I'm going to do for this flower up here. Now I want it as big as I can get it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this yellow fabric. We don't need much because there's only 4 and we haven't got a huge amount of space. So I'm just going to break myself off a little bit like that. That'll be plenty, and I can move that out of the way to save for another day. Now I think if I'm a bit clever, which I'm not often, am I? Let's be honest. I can fold all that together, and if I draw one leaf like that, I don't know if these scissors are going to do it or if I'm going to need, I'll tell you what, let's get the big boys out. That's always the answer, isn't it? And then I should be able to cheat and just cut all 4 in one hit. That's good, isn't it? Praying I don't cut my fingernail on the back, like that, and then just round that off. Okay, get rid of that. Put the cap on these so they stay super sharp. Bring this back, and now we have got one, whoops, one, two, oops, three, and I don't actually mind if it overflaps. We've got 4 of them on there, like that. Okay, so where's my needle gone? I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to make 1 or 2 stitches. I believe they're all, no they're not, I thought they were all laying on top of each other. So we're going to do that and catch those 2, and then we're going to catch that one. Oops, what's happened? Oh, you silly lady. Of course my thread was at the back. How many times have I done that to you? Right, let's rethread this needle. Oh, come on, don't mess. Oh. Don't mess around. Right. Get this needle threaded. Is the answer. Oh, I'm separating the yarn. Can you say, goodness me? No, right. I'm going to have to put you on hold while I sort this out. I'm going mad, aren't I? Did I say put you on hold? Didn't I think it was on the telephone? I meant polls, obviously, but you knew that, didn't you? Right. So, we've now got it at the front where it should be. Stupid woman that I am. We're going to pull that 3rd petal on there, and then we're going to pull the 4th one on as well. That's Boo you can hear jumping around. She's moaning because obviously it's still quite hot here, which she doesn't like. So yeah, she's just basically having a grump. Right, I'm going to go down through there. Now we've got all 4 of them fixed. So we've got our little cross flower, and then I am going to do a bunch of these gold beads to form the middle of this one. So come down there. And that's why I had to obviously put the gold beads into the smaller ones down there. I suppose if I was worrying about scale, I'd have, oh, just flick that bead on the floor, honestly. How rubbish am I? If I was worried about scale, I'd be looking for a slightly smaller gold bead for here than I'm using here, but you know, it doesn't have to be that accurate, does it? So I've got both of those on single strings, another single string here. As it's, you know, a book rather than, you see what I'm saying about another one of these slightly smaller centre holes. As it's a book rather than clothing, it's not going to be moved around too much. Don't have to worry about them getting bashed and coming off, I don't think. So I'm just going for the single feed here. It's very odd to have the 4 petals. I think that's part of what's attracted me. Usually we have 5 or 6, not 6, 5 or 7, don't we? Because we have odd numbers in nature, but not apparently in the Forsythia. I'll probably get loads of you telling me now all the plants that have even number petals. So yeah, as I was saying, the Elm quilt is all but finished, which is absolutely, there you go, absolutely awesome. Really pleased about that. Digby's coming along nicely. I'll stitch in a few other things, bearing in mind the C word is, you know, not as far away as it could be. So yeah, it's all happening. It's all happening. So good. Right, now, plus as I say, I've got another project, but I will share that with you when I know whether or not it's worked. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's turn it on its side, because we are going to work on this wording. Yeah, please. I think what I'm going to do is I am just going to put a little tap of glue under these so that they stay where they've been put, basically. I do still need to obviously iron the lines out, but we'll worry about that when we come to it. Okay, so needle, the same golden brown. It's the Sheepies 179. I think I've told you that many times before. In case you've not seen a previous video and you want to know. And there's no gap filler for me, is there, this time? Because this is, you know, week 2. Oh, I don't know what's going on with me and threading lately. This is week 2 of this spring blossom prompt. So, and it's, well, when you see this, it will be Sunday. So there will be a new prompt before I come along and do next Sunday's video. So we'll have something new to work on. So I'm going to do exactly what I did before with the allium, which is I'm going to do a running stitch, sorry, not running stitch, I'm going to do a back stitch, and then I will whip it. So I'm just starting at the bottom and just running through, making sure that when I've got a curve I do smaller stitches than when I've got a straight, because the only way to get successfully round a curve is with little stitches. Whoops. So that's the upright done, and then I'm going to come on the angle behind, pick up that curve, and then you'll see I'm going almost on top of the stitch. I'm doing it really small, really close. And that's the only way I've found to get a curve. I'm sure professional stitchers will tell you there is another way, but I'm not a professional, and that's the way that works for me. Cross there, and then come out the other side to get our cross line on our F. Back, back. I'm going to make that into two because that's quite a giant stitch really, isn't it? So, oh, I'll do that one. And that one, and then up on the angle to pick up the end of that top line. So yeah, lots of things going on here in the land of Purple Poppy. We've had the gas man here all day because our boiler broke down. Fortunately, didn't need a new boiler, just a new pot, so that's good. So I can have a super duper bath tonight. I've been having to have, I don't know, I've heard people call it a flannel wash. We always refer to it as a strip wash. And I don't mind that, that's fine. It was washing my hair in cold water that was a bit over the top. So it was a quick in and out, as I'm sure you can imagine. I'm sure it's still got soap powder. It hasn't got soap powder in it, that's for sure. Shampoo. I'm sure it's still got shampoo in it. So it'll be nice to have a nice long bath tonight. Now, I need to see where I am, because I need to be keeping that small for this curve. I feel like I pulled the wrong thread. There you go. Turn it all the way around. See, this is what I was saying to you about the concertina. Because the other week, because I turn my work so much, I am finding that a little bit of a struggle. But hey, that's not moan, eh? It's all good. So I've got my panels, haven't I, from the lovely Christine for Christmas. But I'm feeling like I want to do something else as well, so not quite sure what yet. I feel like I'd like to do something. I mean, obviously I can video some of what I do on my Corinne panels. Did I just call her Christine? If I did, I'm really sorry. That's because I'm thinking of something else while I'm speaking. That doesn't work, does it? Lovely Corinne's panels. But I feel like I want to do something else as well. Something, you know, that I can film, maybe do as a bit of a mini series. So I'm going to have a little think about that. Maybe if you know, the panels that I've got from Corinne are going to be stitching. Maybe the other project should be paper for my viewers that don't like to stitch. Maybe. Not quite sure. So, F-O R, and then that lovely curly S. For anybody that doesn't know, this is the Harrington font that I just print off of my computer, and then I used a light box to transfer it. Haven't got a light box, you can use your window on a super sunny day, or if you haven't got, you know, a sun facing window and you're desperate to do it at midnight or something like that, then you can actually use something glass, so like a glass casserole dish or whatever, upside down on your table with your phone inside the casserole dish, and you'll work on the base of the casserole dish. Turn the torch on your phone and away you go. That works really well. I normally do mine like that, but this time, so that you guys could see, because where I film on my phone I obviously can't do that with you, I used hubby's light box so you could see what I was doing. Oh, temperature's picking up again. Boo's disappeared off out to lay by the back door. We've got a cold patch by the back door. I call it the back lobby. It's just a square basically between the kitchen and the bathroom, not the bathroom, back door. And it's nice there because she gets a breeze through the back door without actually being outside, and she loves that. So that's where she's laying at the moment. You can hear her claws. She's actually been a bit of a poorly parrot. Hubby had to take her to the vet this week. She's got some kind of infection. She didn't eat for a few days, which, you know, for a dog of her size is quite concerning. So she's been to the vet, and it turns out she's got some kind of infection. So she's on antibiotics, and if anybody has ever tried to give tablets to a dog that's not eating, you'll know the joys I've been going through over the last few days, because the first time I managed to smear some lovely tasting gravy on them for her, because hubby and I had a beef casserole, so I was able to smear some of that gravy on them. But then she got wise, because she's quite a smart dog, and when I went near that gravy again, she just ran and hid. So, not that she can hide very well, but you know what I mean. So yeah, we're having fun and games trying to get tablets in her at the moment. So if anybody's got a surefire way, I'd be glad to know. But yeah, but she already, I mean, she's had 2 days of the tablets. Well, half of the dose that she's supposed to have, but that's still some of them in her system at least. And she is starting to pick up, so which is fabulous, because they are dreadful, aren't they? We worry about them as much as we did our children when they were little, if not more, because at least our children could tell us what the problem was, whereas of course our fur babies can't. So we just have to try and work it out from their odd behaviour. So yeah. And I suppose part of the reason, sorry, I know I'm jumping conversations here, part of the reason I've been thinking about Christmas is because hubby and I sat down on Sunday and made arrangements for our anniversary, which is in December, but because it's December and people are doing things for Christmas, if you want to book in for something, you have to get in pretty early. So we did that the other day, and of course that's made me think, oh, Christmas is, you know, coming round. So yeah, and that got me thinking about, you know, Christmas in the craft room, if you like. So right, we're nearly there. We're on our H. It's amazing how quick it goes, really. Then we'll go up there and have a little tiny French knot at the top of the eye. There we go. And then a downward stroke, as it were, which I can do in 2 stitches. And then we'll do our A. Now again, we've got a lovely little curve here, little tiny curly bit, so we need to do some really tiny stitches just to keep that curve going. And I'm tending to do single stitches rather than back stitches around these curves, just because it feels easier somehow. So there, in there, on there, back, down, and then we need to do that little kickback bit of the A. That's it. Whoops. Oh, can you believe I did that? It's all going so well, wasn't it? It's all going so well. That's technically the problem, I think. Right, we're back on. Yay. So, down there. And these slightly off stitches don't matter, because as I say, once I whip around it, you're not going to notice those at all. They're really sitting as a foundation for that whipping. Now, I think I've kept you long enough, really, haven't I? So there we go. There we go. There is my Forsythia. Very pleased with it. I'll whip round that and iron off the lines, and then when we come back next week with a new prompt, you'll know what it is. So as always, a huge thank you for spending time with me today. Hope you found some joy and inspiration. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Ta-ta for now.